You do not outclass the German Panzer Arm. For decades, that is the rule everyone accepts. German tanks are faster. German crews are better trained. German doctrine is sharper, cleaner, lethal. Blitzkrieg is not just a tactic. It is a law of war. When German armor appears, resistance collapses. Nations fold. Generals panic. By the summer of 1941, this belief feels unbreakable. Poland falls in weeks. France collapses in 6. British tanks burn outside Dunkirk. Everywhere German panzers go, they dictate the fight. Their guns punch first. Their radios coordinate perfectly. Their crews know exactly where to be and when. So when Germany turns east, when Operation Barbarossa begins, there is no fear of Soviet tanks. Soviet industry is crude. Soviet leadership is purged. Soviet armor, German intelligence insists, is obsolete. The Red Army will shatter on contact. That is the rule. But in October 1941, on a freezing stretch of Russian countryside near the town of Mtsensk, one German panzer commander stares through his binoculars at something that should not exist. And in that moment the rule dies. You are Oberstleutnant Erhard Raus. You are 49 years old. A professional soldier. Calm. Methodical. You command the 6th Panzer Regiment of the 6th Panzer Division, veterans of Poland and France. Your men trust you. You trust your tanks. It is October 1941. The drive toward Moscow is underway. Your division advances through forests, mud, and early snow. The Soviet army is supposed to be broken, retreating, disorganized, desperate. But something feels wrong. The resistance stiffens. Soviet counterattacks grow bolder. Reports filter in from the front. Tanks impervious to fire, shells bouncing off armor, machines appearing out of the mist like steel ghosts. German intelligence dismisses it. Exaggeration. Panic. Soviet propaganda. Then your regiment receives orders. Advance near Mtsensk and smash a Soviet armored force blocking the road. You roll forward with confidence. Your Panzer III and Panzer IV tanks fan out, engines roaring, guns ready. These machines have won every fight so far. At least they have until today. The morning air is cold. Damp. You scan the tree line. Then you see them. Dark shapes emerge from the forest. Low silhouettes, wide tracks, sloped armor gleaming under frost. They move faster than expected. Faster than they should. You raise your binoculars. These are not the Soviet tanks you were briefed on. They close the distance. 1,500 meters. Your gunners fire. Shells strike steel and ricochet. They don't penetrate. They don't slow them. They skip off at impossible angles, screaming into the sky. You feel it in your chest before your mind accepts it. Something is wrong. The Soviet tanks keep coming. 1,200 meters. You order concentrated fire. Multiple panzers target a single enemy tank. More impacts. More sparks. No kills. The Soviet guns flash. A panzer to your left erupts in flame. Turret blown apart. Crew dead in seconds. Another tank is hit, penetrated clean through the front armor. Ammunition cooks off. The explosion rattles your command vehicle. You realize the impossible truth. Your guns cannot stop them. These tanks are T-34s. Their armor is sloped, angled so incoming rounds deflect instead of penetrate. Their tracks are wider, gripping mud and snow where your panzers bog down. Their diesel engines roar with a deeper, angrier sound. They are faster than your tanks. Better armored. Armed with a 76.2 mm gun that punches straight through German steel. You try to maneuver. The ground betrays you. Mud swallows your tracks. The T-34s glide through terrain your tanks cannot cross. Soviet cruise close to 800 meters. Your men fire anyway. They always fire. But the shells keep bouncing. German tankers begin shouting over the radio. Confusion. Fear. Disbelief. This is impossible. Our guns do nothing. They won't stop. You order a withdrawal, controlled, disciplined, but control slips away. More panzers burn. Black smoke coils into the gray sky. The Soviets do not chase recklessly. They hunt. They fire on the move. They flank. They exploit every hesitation. For the first time in this war, German armor is outclassed. At one point, a T-34 rolls directly toward your position. You can see the weld seams on its hull. The red star on its turret. The commander's hatch open as he scans for targets. You feel small. You survive only because the Soviets eventually break contact. Ammunition low, orders fulfilled. When the firing stops, the battlefield tells the truth. German tanks lie shattered. Soviet losses are minimal. You write your report that night with a shaking hand. You describe a tank immune to standard German anti-tank weapons. You warn that existing panzer guns are inadequate. You stress urgency. Berlin must know. And this is the revelation. If you find this kind of forgotten military history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. These stories of courage, shock, and hard-earned truth deserve to be told, and by subscribing, you help ensure they aren't forgotten. What Germany doesn't admit publicly is this. The T-34 shatters the myth of panzer invincibility. Reports like yours flood back to headquarters. Senior officers argue. Engineers panic. Hitler demands answers. The result is a frantic race to catch up. Germany accelerates development of new tanks. The Panther, the Tiger. Bigger guns. Thicker armor. Sloped plates copied directly from the T-34's design. But it takes time. And time is something Germany no longer controls. Every month the T-34 rolls off Soviet assembly lines by the thousands. Factories move east, beyond bomber range. Crews train faster than German replacements can. At Kursk, at Stalingrad, across the endless Eastern Front. The nightmare you witness spreads. The war becomes one of attrition, something Germany never planned for and cannot win. Erhard Rauss survives the war. He writes later that the encounter with the T-34 marks the psychological turning point of the Eastern Front, the moment German confidence begins to rot from the inside. Thousands of German tankers will die fighting machines born from that realization. The T-34 becomes one of the most produced tanks in history. More than 80,000 built. It rolls all the way to Berlin. And it all begins here, with disbelief, with bouncing shells, with one officer realizing the enemy has changed the rules. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten moments from the archives. If you want to join us on that mission, subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state, and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Erhard Rauss and the men of the 6th Panzer Division do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.